Good evening, Legionnaires. This is your horror host, Mr. Hare here from the Burke and Hare House of Horrors team. And if you've not done so before, please hit that like and subscribe button for your regular content in horror movie reviews and ghost hunts. And tonight's video review is none other than the latest James Wan movie, Malignant. Now, what can I say? James Wan is pretty much a very solid horror director. He's made classics like Saw, Insidious, The Conjuring 2, Dead Silence, and very recently he's kind of splashed out into more superhero kind of like movies such as Aquaman, which again, brilliant film. He's kind of gone back to his horror roots with Malignant, and I've kind of looked at Malignant, and to be honest, when I went to see this movie, because I only saw it last night, when I saw the reviews of this movie, it was very polarised. Some calling it a superb, fantastic horror movie, and others calling it more of a it's okay, but it's not kind of James Wan's kind of best horror movie. So I kind of went in a bit blind because, to be honest, I didn't watch any of the trailers of this movie. I only saw the poster, which was pretty much Annabelle Wallis's character with her eye open, quite frenzied. It's bright red, and it looks like there's a knife just above the eye, and it kind of drew me in straight away. So again, I walked into this movie blind, not really knowing what to expect. Well, as for the movie itself, what can I say? I actually really liked it. I completely agree. I don't think it's one's scariest movie. So I think personally, Insidious and the Conjuring movie were probably the scariest, but Malignant is, as I said, it's not the scariest, but it is one of his most ambitious and his most creative. And to be honest, it's generally brilliant to see one back in horror, and it's also brilliant to see him actually at his most creative, because the concept of the movie and the story is brilliant. It's like something that it's not really seen before. It's kind of hinted in some movies, but it's not really done as often, whereas this movie's pretty much made it a very unique twist on that, and it's a brilliant concept. And please don't worry, there's no spoilers in this review, because that's the last thing I kind of want to do, is kind of spoil this movie, because there is a twist in this movie, a very big twist, and personally, I love the twist in this movie. It's a very good twist. Now, again, I don't want to kind of spoil it for you. It's not like it's big twist like what The Sixth Sense is, like when you find well, I better not say, just in case someone's not seen The Sixth Sense actually. But let's break the film down into two parts. So, what works? Well, the story. I really generally do love the story of this movie. There's a lot of ideas that's kind of presented. Some of them are interesting, some of them don't really kind of gel as much as I kind of like them to. What works also well? Visuals. So visually, it's a very striking movie. James Wan takes a lot of nods and influences from Dario Argento. Argento, famous for Suspiria, Opera, Demons, is very known for his very distinct visual style in terms of colour and also shooting styles. There were many different angles and how the scene was shot, which made the movie that's pretty cool. And main enemy, the look is very distinct, it's quite iconic, and it's quite a chilling concept. What also works, well, the gore, the action, that's pretty awesome and pretty intense, to be honest. The atmosphere, again, James Wan, it's not as frightening or as heavy as what Insidious or The Conjuring would be, but it does make some pretty good, intense action scenes, and also into some intense atmospheric scenes where you're like, oh dear, what's going to happen now? And again, characterization, Annabelle Wallis, she's pretty solid in the role as Madison. She creates her as both vulnerable, but also gives that inner determination and strength to keep kind of fighting and carrying on. And also, as I said, it's just generally ambitious and generally unique. It's a very different horror movie. I kind of like the fact is James Wan tried to go in a very creative, different direction, which, to me, I quite love that bold direction he took. It'd be kind of nice to see more bold moves from James Wan in the future. This is what I think didn't really work for me as well. I know it sounds contradictory where I said I like the story, there's a lot of ideas, but as I've said, there's a lot of ideas presented, but again, not all of the ideas really fully mesh together. You kind of think to yourself, that really works well, but this one, I didn't really need it to be. Sometimes the movie suffered with pacing issues, so being in the movie, it's very, very slow. It's quite a bit of a slow start, and it almost takes a while for the movie to take off the ground kind of sense. And again, it's kind of a lot of time just to kind of like get going, but once he did start getting going and put his foot on the gas pedal, it didn't hold off. And it kept that nice, fast, brisk pace. I love the musical score. The soundtrack is incredible. It definitely takes influences from Italian horror movies. It's got like a very operatic, moody kind of music ominously looming through the scenes, followed by like a techno jibe as well, which on paper doesn't really sound like it's really going to work, but together in the movie it works brilliantly. And again, I kind of wish they wouldn't, and I hope they don't. But the movie was kind of, in a sense, setting itself up for a potential sequel, which, again, I hope they don't do a sequel to this, because it's a really good, solid one-off, it is. It's got that genuine, chilling twist at the end, which to me, if I see it again, it's not going to have the same emphasis or kick into me. So I kind of hope they don't, because otherwise that twist is going to be really diluted. The only thing I think didn't work as much, there are a few familiar scares I noticed from the Insidious and the Conjuring movies, the familiar jump scares, which again, with it being James Wan, I kind of was expecting them and almost on the lookout for them in every scene. But other than that, I'm still going to say it's a solid movie. And I can see where the critics are hailing it. I can also see where the critics are probably kind of seen it as more of an average movie. But for myself personally, this is just my personal opinion onto this, I enjoy the movie. I agree, it's not James Wan's greatest horror movie, but it is one of his most ambitious and unique. And it's definitely one I'd like to keep my eye out for. And for that reason alone, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. And viewer beware, you're in for a fucking awesome time. Now please go watch this movie and let me know what your thoughts are. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Again, please hit that like and subscribe button. Now you all take care now. Stay spooky.